May in Indianapolis. Now that is energy you can feel. When that calendar flips, the adrenaline starts pumping. It gets real. Here in the Circle City, we have two first loves. But this month, this is what we live for. All roads in this city lead to the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gamebridge. They're lined with checkered flags and filled with a year's worth of anticipation. And that hum in the air, like sneakers squeaking on the court, is a calling that leads you to the racing capital of the world. At the end of that brick road is a party like you've never seen. It's got flyovers, flames, salutes, songs, thrills, chills, cheers. Your favorite celebrity, grown men and women in tears, and the fastest racing you've ever seen. Let me tell you something about May in Indianapolis. It's more than just some decorations you see around town. It's more than just another month on the calendar, and it's more than just another race. It is us. United we race.
The motorsport world is in mourning. One of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time, the most winningest driver, a two-time Cup Series champion, has tragically passed away. Late last night here in the UK and in late evening in America, we got the tragic news that the charming, determined, fierce, rowdy Kyle Busch tragically passed away. There'll be a full feature in the Cup Series broadcast on Sunday as we look back at this remarkable man and pay tribute to his racing career. Right now, though, our thoughts and our prayers are with Kyle's family and friends. And also, from a personal tribute, my thoughts are with you all, because as motor racing fans, much like I am, we feel his loss. Motorsport is the greatest family in the world. And today, we lost a son. Hello everybody, welcome up to the commentary box. Welcome to what should be a great weekend of motorsport, both here at Indianapolis and over at Charlotte. It is the Indianapolis 500 and it is the Coke 600, and it's on Memorial Day weekend. But celebrations are going to be slightly muted here in America. Kyle Busch's tragic passing yesterday has left everybody feeling somber. I know everybody I've been working with across Grid Network, JBMotorsports and USN also feel the loss as Fox come back from a commercial break. It's scarcely unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It's scarcely believable, and the tragedy is going to be with us for a long time. It's not going to feel right that he is not with us on the Cup race on Sunday. But we will continue on, and we will race in his honour. And that is exactly what he would have wanted, because we all know the last thing he would want is for us to not enjoy the great racing that he puts on for us. There will be a tribute in the Cup race show at Charlotte. It's going to take up a bit of our programming to begin with, but there is going to be a lot of tributes. So for Kyle, we will turn our attention to final practice. Welcome to Carb Day, everybody. Alex Palou is out there on the circuit. He has pole position for the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500 in a stellar performance last Sunday. Now he is in his race car and he's just coming back into the pit lane. When we left you as well on Monday afternoon, we had the accidents of Alexander Rossi, Pato O'Ward and Romain Grosjean all getting caught up in it. I am delighted to tell you that even though Alexander Rossi does have a slight broken bone, he has been cleared to race in this Sunday's event, which is great news. He has gone to a backup car. The same for Pato O'Ward. He too has gone to a backup car. Romain Grosjean is having repairs or still waiting on news on that front. But the good news is we will have 33 cars, and there we now see Alexander Rossi strapped in to his number 20 car as well, and getting all set to get going out on the circuit. This is carb day, so we're going to see a lot of running, a lot of side-by-side action. Let's turn our attention now over to Fox and our commentary team as we get set for this one. It's going to be quite a doozy as we have a flashback to what happened on Monday.
Rossi losing it through 2, hard into the wall. Pato O'Ward spinning behind and into the side of him. Romain Grosjean being caught up in the aftermath of that accident as well. And the last time we were with you, we'd heard from Pato O'Ward, we'd heard from Romain Grosjean. We hadn't heard from Alexander Rossi, who was still in the invalid care centre and was taken to hospital for further checks, but is back in the car, has been passed as fit, has done an extraction test, has been in the simulator to prove that everything is as it should be. And James, those were worrying moments watching him be extracted from the car. I know you know him well. You had a podcast with him the other day. How is he? How is he, you know, mentally, how is he? But also physically, how's he doing?
Well, physically, let's start with this here. You can see the brace on his right foot. Small fractures on his left hand and right ankle. Had minor surgery completed that evening, and already back on his feet, already back in the race car. So, look, physically he has those issues. He's going to sort those out. He says he's very comfortable with the mobility in both his ankle and his fingers. Mentally, totally fine. This was another day at the office for Alex Rossi. He is absolutely geared up. He's got a great backup car underneath him, confident in what the team's got for him, and ready to start in the middle of the front row.
Well, Alexander Rossi's down on pit lane. So too is Jamie Little.
Well, Will, good to see you. And first off, I just want to start by saying that my thoughts and prayers are with the entire Busch family. It's certainly a difficult day beyond belief, but we are dedicating this show and all weekend to the life and legacy of Kyle Busch. But the show must go on, and we will cover it. You talked about Alexander Rossi, and you saw that brace on his right foot. Now, it is non-weight bearing, so he needs a little assistance to get out here to pit lane, but he does have full mobility, as you heard James say. I talked to the team, and they have full confidence in this race car. This is the same car he raced at the Indy 500 last year. He led 14 laps in it. This was supposed to be the primary this year, but they shuffled things around for the month of May, so they are very confident. These are the first laps now. So good to see that smile on Rossi's face. He sure seems like he is 100% back to normal.
And we are under yellow as Alexander Rossi gets up to speed. I'm wondering if it's just a track inspection.
I wonder if we might have some sprinkles in the areas. We take a look at Alexander Rossi hopping on the good left foot, taking care of the right, which has that carbon fiber brace.
Yeah, some hobbling around when we, it didn't even cost him, he didn't even miss our podcast that we were supposed to be doing live on Tuesday night. He did it anyway. It looks like the yellow might be caused by a car slowing on track, Will.
Yeah,
oh, it is.
28, that's Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah, Marcus Ericsson is slowing on the circuit, and he looks like he might have caused a bit of damage out there to the car. So Ericsson is slow coming down pit road. Yellow is for him.
Well, we will get to that. Kevin Lee down on pit lane. What do you know, Kevin?
So back to what Jamie was talking about from this incident on Monday. Rossi and also Pato O'Ward had to go to backup cars, but Romain Grosjean was also collected. They were able to repair this car. It was still fairly significant damage, but as far as super speedway crashes go, not too bad. It's the left side pod, the underwing. His race car, he said it wasn't as quick as he wanted in qualifying, but the race car, which is what matters most for Sunday, was really good, and he's hoping they can get it back to the same, but it's still a little bit uncertain. Every part on the car is a little bit different, so this is an important session for them. They've done the install lap. Grosjean, back in the 500 for the first time in a couple of years, will get to work here very shortly. Georgia Hannaberry.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Behind me, you see Scott McLaughlin, Scotty Mack in the 3 car. This is going to be a 6 Indianapolis 500. He's going to start 9th. He told me just a little bit ago that they are confident as ever in that race car. Wish they would have done just a little better in qualifying, but nonetheless, they're are still a few boxes they have to check today, all the way back at the beginning of Indianapolis 500 practice. Tuesday night, the team had to undergo an engine change, and he felt like that's just crept up on them piece by piece throughout the month. So he is confident in his race car. He feels good going into Sunday, and he feels like after today, they will have all those boxes checked off. But until then, they're working through it right now. That's Scotty Mack. One thing else I want to highlight is their pit box selection. This was strategic by the team. You can see Scott where he sits right there, and in front of him, it's an open out. They wanted as little as possible in front of him when he's leaving to try to miss all the chaos that happens on Indianapolis 500 pit lane. So this was strategic from the 3 team, and we'll have to see if it works out for them.
Well, let's take a look at what happened to Marcus Ericsson in the number 28 Andretti.
Yeah, pit this time, please. Pit this time. That right rear might be loose.
Yeah, definitely go slow. I see it shaking.
So just looking at the right rear there of Marcus Ericsson, hard to imagine, but somehow either a loose wheel nut or maybe in the rebuild of the car, perhaps, James, for race day, there's something askew on Marcus Ericsson's car.
You see the crew there just doing a thorough check now of that corner, having done a, albeit slow lap around the track. With a loose wheel, you can never be too safe. But yeah, not the start to carb day you want. I mean, I guess better to have it now at the beginning than have that be the last thing you feel during maybe some practice stops at the end of the session. But still, yeah, a little bit confusing and surprising to have that sort of issue right off the bat.
And Ericsson, a driver who's has such a great record here at Indianapolis, Will, and is looking to just get back to, I wouldn't even call it good luck, just normal luck situation. He had the crash. It was not his fault on the opening corner, opening lap of the 2024 race. Last year came across the line second, disqualified for a technical infraction post-race. But he has always been at the sharp end of this grid and is certainly going to be one to watch on Sunday. But you need to be trouble-free on pit lane. Not a great start today.
Well, on track, when the flag waved at the 500, he's been in the top 2, 3 out of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible record. And what about this guy? Pato O'Ward, when he's finished, it's always been in the top 6. He loves this place, feels that this could be his year. I wonder, will it be for the number 5, Pato O'Ward, down pit lane?
Well, Will, he's so happy to be back behind the wheel after all the drama that we saw earlier in the week. He's out. This is the first time he's feeling out this backup car, but it is a good backup car. A lot of great finishes, a race winner. It was on the pole at Nashville the end of last season. I just talked to Nick Snyder, his strategist, and he said, we think we've hit all of our marks, but nothing better than getting out here on track right now and shaking it down, feeling it out, and knowing that it's just as good as the primary car. So we're listening to his radio. We'll bring updates and hopefully hear from him here in just a little bit.
ECR 1-2, Rasmussen and Carpenter early running here at Indianapolis on a gloomy morning, trying to get those laps in before the rain arrives.
Yeah, we are chasing the rain here at the Brickyard, quite similar to what we had on Monday, to be fair. So it's not great news, but it's a little bit better. Don't know what Will said actually about the Freedom 250. I'll have to double check on that front as well, as I knew they were going to go to that. So I'm just getting my INDYCAR Live up, which is the world feed that we get. Oh, I get a media login for it as well. So don't forget, we also have the Pit Stop Challenge coming up later on, and the Weenie 500. They're not scheduled just yet, but we are going to be covering the Weenie 500, and we are going to be covering the Pit Stop Challenge. So look forward to those, because the JB Motorsports crew are going to have it. We've got no idea, by the way, exactly what it's going to be like coverage-wise, because we don't actually know if we'll have any timings for the Weenie 500 or if we'll have any timings for the secondaries. But we have got a screen ready for the Weenie 500 just in case that becomes the probability. There are a few rain clouds around, I'm not going to deny to you. It's not looking 100% great. And I think they know that. And I think that's slightly worrying them as well, actually. There you can see the look at the circuit right now. And there you can see the rain clouds that are slowly starting to come in over the circuit, which is not the most thrilling news. But I'll tell you what, that is a great shot at the pagoda. 1 hour and 47 minutes to go here as we get ready. Now, just a quick reminder, for the last sort of 45 minutes, we're going to be handing over to Fox because we're off to cover the first practice, the only practice session for the Canadian Grand Prix. So we're sort of merging between the two today across all of it. So that's going to be, again, a lot of fun, but also a lot of problems being spaced up. It's so hot in this commentary box. There's a fan on its way in a few moments, and I'm going to be cool as a cucumber as Alex Palou jumps to the top of the times on a 2:25.986. Christian Rasmussen in second is a 2:25.718. And Marcus Armstrong also still looking strong. This is practice at Carb Day.
Indianapolis, American motor racing.
Jimmy Johnson's
around the world. Your emotions, your feelings on this dark day?
Yeah, it's just tough to process, which I know the whole racing community is going through those same emotions right now. Yeah, just tough to process. And then, of course, knowing him away from the track and, you know, his family, his parents, his brother, the broader community that was so close to him, just feeling for everyone and in total shock.
Yeah, it's shocked everybody. Obviously, our entire crew and so many people here have worked with him for such a long time. And being here at Indianapolis as well, a track on which he performed so well and has such a rich history. It's ironic and also kind of nice to be somewhere where there are such happy memories. And that's, I think, what people will take most about Carl, is those great memories that have just ingrained themselves in them and their passion for the sport, what he gave people.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. Certainly within the world of racing and the fans and the people that work in the industry, going to the track has always been a healing moment. And you bring that up, and my perspective has shifted here today, and being around so many people that care about him, and cars on track and tires being worn out, you know, all the things that he was so into. There's an amazing healing property that comes with going to the track and racing again. But you know, the NASCAR community specifically is really on their back foot and trying to heal. And I know as we go to Charlotte this weekend, a hometown race, there'll be a lot of you know, thought that goes into celebrating him and his life and honoring him.
Yeah, well, I hope that they know through you, through our broadcast, through all of our shared friends, the INDYCAR community, all of this paddock, our fan base, we're with you, we're with the NASCAR community right now, and most importantly with the Busch family and all of his dear friends. As you said, racing is what gets us through, racing is what brings us back. Let's get some action out on track. Let's talk about what we're seeing out on track right now. Malukas has gone to the top, Palou second, Rasmussen third, McLaughlin fourth, and Jimmy, we have to mention one thing as you're here. You're standing in a McLaren top and a McLaren hat.
Yes.
We had Dario on the show the other day.
Who's that guy?
Your dear friend Dario. And Townsend actually asked him, was it a bit strange that Jimmy's given crew to McLaren this weekend? How did he break the news to you?
I think I just avoided him and Chip altogether. No, when my phone rang from TK and what they were trying to do for Ryan Hunter-Reay in that car, at first it was the Campy piece with his history at Penske, his history with McLaren and crewing Kyle Larson when he was here. Made a lot of sense, and it actually worked for us timing-wise. And then it led into this other opportunity with some of our over-the-wall pit crew members joining in.
I got to ask about that, Jimmy, because, you know, TK was up here last week, told us a story about how that came about, but then what we weren't prepared for is how revolutionary your guys instantly became over the wall, especially on that outside rear. As we watch a replay from the Monday practice, and all of a sudden, for the first time, Air Jack Guy carrying the new tire over, outside rear is just picking up or taking off the old one. Air Jack Guy is clocking the new one. And Tony Kanaan told us a second faster. And on that clip you just saw right there, outside rear was the first one done, usually the last one done.
We should have known better. You guys are going to have cameras on and catch that.
How did this evolve? Did they literally just show up in the shop and said, we've got an idea to do it differently?
It's been a slow evolution of things. You know, Eric Cowden was my lead engineer when I was here in INDYCAR, and he spent some time with us through one of the winters when he was in between Ganassi and where he is now at McLaren. And We just talked about a lot of different ways that our sports are similar but different, and how those elements could apply, and the over-the-wall side was one that was brought up and thought about a little bit, and then it all came to life here in short order.
Well, how cool is it that round one of the Oscar Mayer $150,000 pit stop challenge this afternoon is Palou versus Hunter Ray, Ganassi versus Jimmy Johnson.
I didn't realize that was our exact pairing. That is hilarious.
A little bit extra on the line there.
Yeah. You said you've been avoiding Chip. This might be another day to
yeah, I'll be hiding back in the crowd somewhere, but excited to see this go.
Fuel is not a factor in the pit stop challenge. It's really all about that outside rear.
It is, but at the same time, it's a little bit different because they're already staged up, so they're not going to get to use their trick technique. It's all just going to be how quick you are on the gun and on the wheel, so it's going to be fun to watch. Jimmy, look, you got a lot of experience at this racetrack, both in the Brickyard 400 and, of course, now the Indy 500. Just some of the emotions, some of the memories you got at this place. How nice is it coming back?
So many great memories. You know, you cannot help but have goosebumps hit your body when you come through the tunnel and show up here. Hear cars fire up, to see this crowd, watch cars whiz by. I do miss being out there, but this transition into office life has been quite exciting and still very competitive. It's something I didn't give a lot of credit to, and Mr. Hendrick would tell me when I was driving his cars that someday you'll find this competitive nature within the business side of the sport. And happy to be where I am, but certainly looking back and savoring all the moments I've had out there at the Brickyard.
Was there something, what's one Indy 500 memory from your time behind the wheel here that kind of stands out?
For me, it's really trying to make the Fast 6. I made the Fast 12. I was the first of the Ganassi cars to go for the Fast 6 kind of eligibility. And Dixon convinced me that I had to run flat out. And I thought so, and I was committed to it, but I had a tailwind and was all over the hard limiter at 240-something going into one, and missed my apex and almost had a moment. So the surprise of going that fast, and then the surprise of using up that much road at that pace, I'll never forget.
Amazing. We just saw Felix Rosenquist's car being rolled back towards the garage area. Jamie Little can update us on what's going on with the 60.
Yeah, and Felix Rosenquist just 5 laps out there in this final practice before the race. What did you feel and what do you know?
Car felt really good. Then I turned into 3 and something felt really off on the rear. I came in. I actually don't know. I just jumped out of the car, so I'm not sure what it was, but we had to roll back. Something was broken, so I'm happy I was able to keep it out of the wall because it felt kind of sketchy. So yeah, glad we could react to it early, and hopefully we'll be back out soon. Yeah.
We'll keep our eye on you. See if he can get out before the end of this session, guys.
So huge that Felix and Marcus Ericsson both immediately felt something on that outside rear. Came in. They both have had issues. This is from that big, long layoff. Meanwhile, I think there's some other things going on. Georgia?
Yeah, Townsend, Marcus Ericsson coming to pit lane a little bit earlier, served a 5-minute penalty for bringing out the yellow, but nothing was actually wrong. The team was unsure if the outside rear tire was completely tightened. Turns out it was, but they brought him to pit lane just to check and just to make sure. We have to take every precaution possible, going 230 miles an hour, but everything all good with the 28th car.
Well, Newgarden out there on track and making moves and putting in times. Newgarden the quickest, 228.3. Rasmussen second. Malukas, who we were just seeing out there on track, there he is in the 12. Starts from the front row. Finished second last year for AJ Foyt. Can he get not just a first ever 500 win, but your first ever IndyCar win? Rasmussen.
Still looking good here as we continue with Carb Day. There's so much going on right now up here in the commentary box. It's getting quite insane with the pit stop challenge and several other matters. I'm going to turn that timing screen off just to give this a little bit of breathing room. Well, so far it's so good here as Newgarden holding on at the front. He's done a 228.342 mile-an-hour lap time. I love hearing them fly through. It's one of the most addictive sounds. Carb Day at its fullest. It is an addictive episode. It is an addictive run around out there. As I think we're going to look at Jim Clark soon.
Clark's pit crew is famous. The Wood Brothers, fastest on the southern stock car circuit. Like Clark, they are prepared. Clark's refueling crew, the Wood Brothers, go to work. Despite the new gravity fuel flow, Clark is out in 24.5 seconds. Amazing. Clark's the first foreign driver to win the 500 since 1916.
The amazing Jim Clark. What a run he did. You're going to hear that again in a few moments' time when Sky come back in and Fox return from their commercial break. But honestly, he is a top dollar bill. As we wait to see what's going to happen, keep them peeled here at the Brickyard. There is so much more action to remain. Here is Jim Clark then on the board.
Like Clark, they are prepared. Clark's refueling crew, the Wood Brothers, go to work. Despite the new gravity fuel flow, Clark is out in 24.5 seconds. Amazing. Clark's the first foreign driver to win the 500 since 1916.
Amazing stuff. That's quicker than a couple of the Andretti pit stops this year. First time a NASCAR crew or a stock car crew attended to a car at the Indy 500. Roll forward 2026.
It worked out all right for Jim Clark.
Didn't it just?
So I hope history repeats itself there.
When I watch those big fuel nozzles get plugged in, I have to be reminded 75 gallons was the size of the fuel tank back then.
The aluminum fuel tank.
It's over 500 pounds. Can you imagine how the balance would shift?
Oh my gosh.
1,200-pound race car with 500 pounds of gas?
I was first thinking about 75 gallons of fuel and the explosive nature of it.
Yes,
now when you think about
that's where I went.
And
I'll handle the balance difference.
And a front-engine Roadster, it was in the back of the fuel tank, hanging off the rear axle.
Open face helmet.
It's one of the things that's so remarkable about this place, and I am always so respectful of racers back in that day. Just the courage to take on the challenge. There's courage of a different kind here, but boy, they were trailblazers.
And Jim, of course, was rear-engine, fuel tanks were a bit all around him. On the sides, just surrounded by...
Sounds like a great idea.
Right?
Just look at the top 5, top 6 cars, guys. These are all drivers that really we've kind of had our eyes on right from the open test. And really competitive cars and traffic. Yeah, been one of them as well.
We've been talking pit stops. Let's have a look at this one for David Malukas and the 12 crew at Penske. Always efficient. Oh, not this time, though. A little bobble there on the front right.
It's good to happen, though, in practice, because you got to practice working through those problems.
Totally.
Right? You can't just abandon the tire change if you have an issue, if you drop a nut, even in these practice stops. I almost... It looks like a little bit of a give up on that one. I don't think it was quite the urgency you'd see in the race, but it's important to do it.
You have to have that clock in your head, which is the fuel plug, and remind yourself, hey, we're still good. I'm still not holding the car up. There's time for me to reset it.
The other element is the, for every athlete, which they're all individuals are athletes as well, when you make a mistake, the accountability that comes with it, that could be that little mistake there in this moment could be what he needs for tomorrow to make sure that he executes time and time again.
100%. It's awesome to see how close everyone's able to run here today, guys. Jot conditions, 78-degree track time. That's the coolest we've seen. I mean, really all throughout the whole week. It's normally this kind of group running in practice would happen later in the day. Track temp a little bit higher than this. Certainly for our qualifying weekend, hovering just over 100 to about 108 degrees. Right now, cool ambient, cool track. That's a great recipe for close racing.
And it's very similar to what we're expecting Sunday, critically.
I was chatting with Nolan Siegel before I came out, and I was flashing back to my experience in the race and how different it was with this long train of cars. And everybody talks about how you need to run flat in 2 and 4 to set up a pass. Well, it is so much easier said than done. Yeah. I could do it in all the other practice sessions and pass at will, and do what I was supposed to. But in that long train of cars, I never experienced it until race day, and it was so different.
Carb Day is so unique because this is really, I mean, you see that train of cars. You never see a line quite that long in practice in the group running. Everybody's largely going to be on the same tire life. It's just the closest conditions to true race conditions that you're going to see all month long. And you do experience things for the first time, especially as a rookie, when you're in this line on Carb Day.
I'm enjoying watching this little battle shaping up between Daly and Newgarden. I think that could be something that gets replayed on Monday. Sunday, sorry.
A little foreshadowing.
Daly is third, according to the latest odds this morning. Daly's third favorite to win the 500.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, kid shows up every time.
And he's genuinely been quick. Dry Ryan Bull Racing's had quick cars. Obviously, there was an issue with the gearbox on the 24 at Jack Harvey in qualifying. Unrelated, then there was the disqualification, so he will start 33rd and last. But these cars have been so good in race trim.
They're fantastic. And as you know, you need the complete package here. And that includes what happens on pit lane and what happens with strategy. To me, that's always been the hardest part, is pulling all of those factors together as we get to take a look at our Top Gun graphics for the first time.
I think we had a bit of a data thing there. The data seemed to be frozen on. We'll try to get another shot for you guys of that. But even just this camera angle, I think it's so awesome. Really gives everybody a sense of the speed. Yeah, that's a great shot.
Jimmy, one thing I'll remember about your time in IndyCar on the ovals is how creative you got early, like at Texas, for instance, working the line, working the angles. Here at Indy, though, as you'll remember, the groove is so narrow, you're really limited on creativity. Were there any little tricks or nuances that you picked up that you thought, okay, I'm differentiating myself here at Indianapolis over some of the other ovals that had a wider line, multi-lanes?
For here, no, and I got really frustrated with myself in that process. We had some, I can't remember exactly why, but we ended up deep in the field, and as did Pelot due to a caution. And I watched him use some creativity and more than anything, a ton of bravery. And I was like, I don't want to do that right now. It's not time. But unfortunately, there weren't any more opportunities on restarts and such to look at a second lane or just be half a car without. And he was able to finish much higher than I did. But on the other ovals, that creativity really came into play. And then also the ability to exploit spotters. In NASCAR, we live and die by it, right? So it's everything that we do. But I found that I could show a nose and just show that I was fading somewhere, and a spotter from the IndyCar series would give me that respect. And all I needed was that little break in momentum, and I can fill the spot.
That's a great point. I mean, the spotter-driver relationship is so crucial. And like you say, with NASCAR, you're doing, 32 oval races a year, something like that. Super long distances. That's one thing I know Montoya always said when he came back to IndyCar after a stint in NASCAR. We had 3 500-mile races on the schedule at that point. He goes, you guys do 1, 2, 3 a year. I'm used to doing 15 to 20 of these things. I understand long races so much better than you do. And there's no doubt that could have been an advantage for you when you were running here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And now on the Cup side, not only do we have our great spotters that are so well trained, we have a rear view camera, and you can kind of adjust where it's pointing and the view that you have, and you can aero block like you never before.
We talked a lot about Andretti. Didn't go well for them in qualifying, but they had looked great in their race running prep during practice. Kevin, what do you know about Kyle Kirkwood?
Well, there may be a reason, or at least they're searching for why it didn't go as well in qualifying. Kyle Kirkwood's team has changed engines. It's not the engine that they qualified with. They've gone back to the engine that they were running in practice, and they'll do some more investigation. Maybe all is well, and the engine he had in last weekend will be put back into service again. Kirkwood has felt the race car has been really, really good. And I asked him this morning, what's the best condition for you? And he said, we're good in all conditions. We want it to be hot, because those who feel like their car is really balanced, really strong in the cool conditions, flaws will be accentuated in the heat. So he's hoping it can be as warm as possible on Sunday, and he still gives himself a good chance to be in the fight.
It's such a great point, Kev. When the track conditions are cool like this, we just said it's great for grip. It's great for covering carb performance. If you have a bit of a deficit, a bit of a problem, an imbalance in your handling, these cool conditions can kind of cover it a little bit. So if you're really confident in your race car, you want those track temps to go up. You want those weaknesses to be exposed in the competition. So not sure if Kirkwood's going to get his wish on the weather side, but it's nice to know that your car's good in all temperature ranges.
It does show 77 on Sunday, but cloud cover almost certainly, so that'll keep the track temps down.
Kirkwood currently 7th, Newgarden still quickest from Rasmussen and Malukas. Connor Daly is 4th, Sato completes the top 5. We'll be back to Indianapolis.
We are indeed back to Indianapolis, as I hope that my new fan is going to work in a second. Oh, yeah, it's oscillating. So it can oscillate. So my new fan oscillates. And I know, oh, this is going to be new. Hang on. Oh, the cool air already, by the way, is something else. Oh, there's got a little stool as well, a little handle. Well, already standing up. Oh, sorry, hang on. There we go. Already standing up in the commentary box is a lot more pleasant now that we have an actual working fan for the first time in God knows how many 8 months. But yeah, me and Megan can now sit down and we have a fan up in the booth. So yeah, it's a tower fan, so that's going to be keeping me and Megan nice and cool. 1 hour, 23 minutes to go, and as things stand, as Newgarden, Rasmussen, Malukas, Daly, Sato, Palou, Kirkwood, McLaughlin, Grosjean, VK the top 10, Rossi looking rather resplendent in his car, despite it being, of course, a replacement out there. So keep your fingers crossed. It's going to be a good sign of things to come, I think. I, for one, very much enjoying seeing what's going on here. Hollywood Harvey's helmet might edge out Ferrucci's Evel Knievel helmet. Best live for the 500. Harvey has got a sort of a greenish tint. It's very nice indeed. As we all set ready to go. Might see that in a few moments' time, actually. As we continue pushing on brilliantly.
Back in Indianapolis, 1 hour and 22 minutes of practice remain for the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500. Still Joseph Newgarden quickest, looking for his third win around this fabled track. See all the way through this month, as has Green's VK. Dennis Hauger up there as well after a disappointing qualifying for him.
One of the things I'm looking at, guys, is trying to keep an eye on the drivers involved in that incident on Monday, having to go to backup cars. You've got Pato O'Ward in a different race car, 31st on the time charts. Alex Rossi just one position ahead, 30th. Is this them just getting comfortable again? Can you really look at times in this sort of big train? We always say you can't when it comes to these toe laps, but at the same time, you've got to have confidence in your race car to be able to keep your foot planted to pull off something in the 227s and 228s. They're down there right now at 220s. So maybe a beginning of a cause for concern for both those organizations.
Interestingly, though, I'm not seeing anybody carving through the field quite like what we saw in the Monday practice or even last week on Wednesday. But you never know where everybody is. I think maybe cars are a little bit more equalized now. Everybody's running new tires, full fuel for a long run. So that balance, that parity probably exists in terms of car setup for everyone at this point.
How conscious are you on this day more than any other of just keeping it clean?
Don't hit stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's everything. But at the same time, you got to learn. You got to go out there and practice what it's going to be like in the race. We just talked about these are the closest conditions in terms of the race conditions, the cars on track. So you can't shy out of it.
No, and Jimmy made a great point earlier about what you witnessed from your teammate Alex Palou and how aggressive he was and all of it. You can't wait until the race necessarily to practice. So it took me, I don't know, by my 5th or 6th time here to realize I need to be in the inferno and get uncomfortable early. That became my goal. Get uncomfortable on Wednesday practice of last week, work the tools. You just can't tiptoe your way into a battle like this. You've got to be prepared.
I had a great month of May when I was here. We were fast in a lot of the sessions. Should have made the top 6 in qualifying. So the pace was in the car. But looking back on it, I wish I ran a lot more downforce and had a car that could have run near the top 5 on its own merit. And then once I was in that race, then start trimming out through the pit stops. And I kind of wonder if some of the guys are focused on that now. Maybe that's why we're not seeing as much overtaking. And just the progression you can make on each pit stop with your trim settings could be part of the reason why.
So the ECR teammates there, Rasmussen leading Rossi around right now, so giving Alex some good running in dirty air. It's funny, you talked about that train kind of being close. You don't see anybody carving up through the field. When I was speaking to Pelot yesterday, he said there's kind of a magic track temperature number that makes the racing good. He says right now, when it is so cool, everybody is good. There's nobody really having any issues to create some of those opportunities to pass. His magic number was 110 degrees, as we see a little bit of a replay here for number 6. Coming in, hitting off of 4.
Very squirrely under braking.
Massive save, twice actually, from Siegel.
And look at how close as he's trying to gather things up. Look at the crew right there. I'm not sure if that was Catherine Legg or maybe the 51 of Jacob Abel. That first pit stall, Jimmy, as they're coming from 230 down to 60 miles an hour. There's some bowling pins you've got to be careful of there as Rossi gets past Rasmussen. I had a question for you. I call Rasmussen the Sultan of sketch, the way he won the Milwaukee race last year, how sideways he seems comfortable with the car, how many moments of extreme yaw he's able to drive with. We were talking in the break about the limited yaw rate in a Cup car these days. If you had to pick a Sultan of sketch in the Cup Series right now, who is that?
In this era car, I think Blaney and Larson really do the best job. Oh, gosh, now you think about all the success Tyler Reddick has had. But it's just a different slip window. Yep. The era that I drove in was like being on a dirt road. You had this big, wide yaw angle that you could lean into and manipulate. Now you've got to be a step ahead of it, and it's more about the weight of the wheel than it really is about the movement of the car. And the guys that can do it, and especially these people here in these Indy cars, my 2 years in it, I couldn't believe how the weight of the wheel really gave you so much feedback and understanding of what was coming ahead.
And one of the things the lack of power steering kind of affords you in an Indy car, right, is you feel every change in yaw angle, even just by not doing anything, the wheel moves itself almost. Like you say, it gives you that indication of what's happening.
So for a guy with a broken foot, a broken finger, screws in both, Alexander Rossi looks totally committed right now. So does Kyle Kirkwood to the outside of Rasmussen at the last second there in turn 3.
See, I like that from both those guys, from both Kirkwood and Rasmussen, because it was a late pop on the outside from Kirkwood, but Ras didn't just back out of it and think, okay, look, he's going for it, I'm going to back out. He kept his foot in, tried to fall in line as best he could, as we see Kirkwood now lining up Rossi.
That had a bit of sketch in it.
Yeah, that did have a bit of sketch in it.
I go back, James, to what you said, day 1 open test. Kirkwood's got a great car.
He did. He looked so good in traffic in the open test all through the week of practice. Just something didn't click for this team across all 3 cars in qualifying. When he went up to the big boost, back down to 130 horsepower at race levels, and that Sam's Club machine is looking pretty on rails right now.
Just as an outsider watching the sport, to be in the sport with Kyle when he first came in, you could just see a different presence and aura around him. Of course, winning helps and starts building that confidence, but he's a much more confident man today than when I was here in 21, 22.
Very well said. Really is the complete article now, Kyle Kirkwood. What about his teammate, though? Will Power, first Indy 500 for him in a non-Penske car.
Kevin. You know else who thinks the Kyle Kirkwood race car looks really good? It is the aforementioned former winner, Will Power. He told me this morning, we're going to try Kyle's setup. It's not like we're lost. It's not like we're off. We're not necessarily going to stick with that, but we at least want to see how it works, to see which one we like better, and then we'll make a decision. Specifically what he wants, he said, I want the car to turn more mechanically instead of aerodynamically.
Well, Jimmy, thanks so much for being on the show. We appreciate you coming up now.
I want to go sit on the pit box, and they have a headset for me with my name on it, so I'm going to go sit there.
Wow.
Fancy. Make use of that.
That is fancy. Brilliant stuff, man. Best of luck for Sunday. Thank you so much for coming up. It's always a joy, mate. Always a pleasure.
Cheers.
Jimmy Johnson, folks. Newgarden, Rasmussen, Malukas. No change in the top 3. Ericsson making his way back out on track, and we will be back.
Helen's just used Confused.com, and the weight of car insurance burdens her no more.
Back at the Brickyard, an hour and 14 minutes to go. Newgarden still top from Rasmussen, Malukas, Daly, Sato, Palou, Kirkwood, McLaughlin, Armstrong and Grosjean are getting into the top 10. Just starting to see, for the first time, the group running starting to fly through. And there's, a very close move on the inside there. There's the pit stand. Alex Palou not out there. Now, this is unusual. Obviously, you don't want to damage your race car if it's feeling good. We had a little bit of a carb day on Monday, but this is a bit strange that he's now just sitting on the stand, not going out with an hour 13 to go. Palou's still talking over there. He's done 37 laps so far, but it's a strange one that he has. He's even inside an hour. Just turning the fan around back onto me. We had Mum in the box just cooling herself down. It is currently 26 degrees here in the UK. It is hot, 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 hot. Yeah, he has done 37 laps so far, but very strange that he's not out on the circuit getting the most amount of running as possible from the circuit. Pato, so Palou was out in the session. Yeah, he was the first guy we came back to.
We've got more United Football League action coming up this weekend, and the push for the playoffs is on. First, Fox UFL Friday features the DC Defenders against the Orlando Storm. Tonight, 8 Eastern. Then on Sunday, it's the Dallas Renegades at the Louisville Kings at 4. All on Fox.
Into Louisville the other day on my attempt to get back from New York to Indianapolis. It was mad panic. At one point, we thought we might drive it. That would have been uncomfortable. But then we looked at it and it was 13 hours. Yeah, so uncomfortable, suboptimal.
But you slept on a bench. I'm not sure which is worse. I slept on a bench.
Mate, it's been a wild week. Kirkwood making moves still on the racetrack. Him and Rossi, old sparring partners, old teammates from Andretti Global back in the day. But it's good to see, again, Rossi out on track, clocking the laps, running in traffic. But again, even when Kirkwood makes the pass, he's able to pull out a little bit. He is dialed up.
This is Kirkwood's teammate here, Marcus Ericsson, with a dicey moment, much like Nolan Sewell, locking up that right front. And that's where those pit speed penalties can absolutely come in and crush your race.
Sandy, you were talking about this earlier on in practice about how you trail a little bit of brake just on your way in, just put a little bit of temperature into it, because obviously you're not using the brake out on track. First time you've got to use it, getting down to pit limit, and you're gonna get squirrely, particularly in these low temperatures.
Yeah, it's temperature. It's also getting your bias right. If you carry too much front bias, you know, you can lock up right there, getting to the pit speed line, or lock up, getting in your pit box, even worse, and maybe pinning somebody up against the wall. You saw that with Robert Schwartzman last year as he came in. But how about Rinus VeeKay in 2025?
This was that rear locking that we saw from Siegel. You pointed out, look how close he gets to that first pit box. If you've got a car being serviced right there, that would have been very bad. And it's a difficult thing. We see it every single year here at Indy. You're pitting from over 200 miles an hour. It's a straight shot on the brakes. The brakes are cold. The car's set up asymmetrically. It's so easy to get it wrong. But again, you're going to be doing it 6-7 times on Sunday. You've got to nail it.
And people might ask, well, why don't you just take it easy? Well, you could lose 5-10 positions during green flag stop sequence by not pushing the limits on the brake zone. So every single aspect of optimization matters in terms of track position, especially during those green flag stops.
Eyes on the 3 drivers involved in that incident from Monday. Pato Award still down in 31st, 220.8. Alexander Rossi's jumped up to 28th on a 222.291. Romain Grosjean still inside the top 10 on a 225.151.
It's kind of fun. I just talked about those green flag stops, James, and you watch a pack of cars right here pass a fixed asset trackside and just count out a second. I mean, amazing with how fast these cars are going, what 1 second loses you in terms of track position in a pack.
Well, at 200 miles an hour, you're covering a football field a second. So you lay a football field on top of this front straight. How many cars are sitting in that 100 yards? It's 8. A lot. Yeah. A ton of track position can be lost. The other thing that's different for this year for these drivers is the braking system. The braking package has been altered a little bit to try to stop exactly what we saw happen to Rinus VeeKay in that replay from last year. It's supposed to make the brake pedal a little bit more consistent, a little bit more solid, and that's something that the drivers are having to get used to, especially these guys with a lot of experience.
Yeah, the truth is, for years, teams worked to make the brakes not work at all when you didn't want them to even touch the rotors and have any drag. So we went through all kinds of tricks and goodies to try to pull back the brake pucks in the calipers, reduce friction with the rotor at the expense of braking performance. Crazy? Yes. Effective? Absolutely.
I've heard stories of people not running brakes for 500 qualifying, or like minimum brakes, and you just use the slowdown laps to basically ease off and scrub the speed off. James is nodding.
Can neither confirm or deny.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Guys, I'm watching this session, and I got to tell you, that 12 car of Dave Malukas looks absolutely hooked up. We didn't see anybody cutting through the field earlier. Later in these runs, that 12 machine is cutting through traffic and pulling away from packs. He is looking very strong.
Is he cutting the mustard? Jamie.
Not yet, Townsend.
The defending Indy 500 winner. We saw them just take your car back to the garage. You put in about 27 laps or so. What did you feel there? What happened?
Yeah, I didn't feel anything. Like, my car was great, but mechanics just saw something they didn't really like. So they're making sure everything is good, going back to the garage. We still have an hour left, so hopefully the weather stays and we can get back in. But yeah, feels good. I wish the race was like right now. We're ready to go, but yeah, super cool. It's been very cool to have Jeremy on our stand today. Just getting to know what he did with the Artemis, and yeah, it's been a cool day so far.
So car felt good in traffic, and speed-wise, everything feels good for Sunday.
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, you never know what other people is doing on fuel, tires, pushing or not pushing. I feel good so far. Everything changes when it goes to race day. Nobody is as nice when you're trying to get a pass. Normally, they make it a lot tougher for you to pass. So yeah, so far it's good, but still some work to do before we get back into racing.
All right, Alex Pallou's strategist, Barry Wanter, just told me it's just easier to take it back to the garage to check some things out because a hot pit road just makes it more complicated, guys.
Daly popping out from under Rasmussen, trying to have a go through. Yeah, Daly's a fascinating one for me because during the week of practice, Connor looked to have the better race car. Jack, his teammate, Jack Harvey, looked to have the better car in clean air. We've got some radio.
Pretty wind sensitive, pretty neutral on entry a lot of places. To be honest, I just felt like I was hanging out at a spot to go by people when they got it wrong, and then just the vibration was building and getting more aggressive.
So Jack reporting a vibration. I've heard Connor was reporting some vibrations earlier as well. But Jack obviously a disappointing qualifying for him. Connor qualifying far above expectations for him. But it was always the race car that Connor had the belief in. Kevin, down on pit lane, what can you tell us?
And you mentioned some communications issues, and the plan was, I'm not at his pit at the moment, but I think they are changing helmets for Jack Harvey. There you go. You see a shot from just a moment ago. They are looking to change the helmet to see if that sorts the issues. He's not been super happy so far in the practice. He had a little bit of a vibration, but not in a terrible spot, and still some time to get sorted a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a new helmet brought in for race day for Jack Harvey. Maybe an issue in the wiring as they put that together. That's why you want to get that done in a practice session before the big day. But a little problem, you heard him talking about the balance of the race car a little bit off. Trying to just hang back in traffic, capitalize on people's mistakes, but a little bit too loose to make moves happen when he needed to. So still some work to do on the 24.
Guys, all three Penske's now in the top 10. McLaughlin 8th. Newgarden still first. Malukas still third. Strong start to Carb Day. Riding on board with Newgarden. This in replay. My goodness.
Newgarden almost went flying. Talking about threading the needle, that was absolutely ridiculous. He nerfs out the inside line and gets ahead of Grosjean. And Newgarden diving on the inside of Graham. Well, that was almost a huge accident.
Been on race day, unless a driver's got a problem, and that was a very near miss.
Near misses.
Well, a near miss for Newgarden. But clear air for him out the front. P1 still for the Penske man. Clear air for him.
Well, we're going to be transferring over at the next commercial break to Fox, so you're going to lose a little bit of your telemetry. You won't have the timing information of who's coming into the pit lane, so you'll have to monitor that, but you'll have the driver track and other information for the last hour of running. We are going to head off shortly to the from the Brickyard to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the racing capital of the world. So we'll just give you a little bit of a heads up that that's where we're going in a few moments' time. It's going to be one of those switcheroo days as well. But yeah, we're disappearing from there so that we can cover the first practice session of the Formula One. I don't think we actually needed to change stream key. We didn't. No, I thought not. Okay, so we're going to do the switch over now. If you experience a bit of freezing, you can refresh the page. We're going to do the switch over. If the plan has worked. So we're on the way then. Hopefully with a good running. Are we good? Did it change? Has it changed for you? Yes, it has. Hello, everybody. So 1 hour, 2 minutes to go in this one. Newgarden, Rasmussen, Malukas, Daly, Sato, Palou, Kirkwood, McLaughlin, Armstrong, Grosjean in the top 10 as they fly back past us on the backstretch.
Back at Indianapolis. That is
Still looking
the
good.
and white car of Christian Lundgaard. That the two-tone blue and white car of Readiness VK.
Back to Fox then.
Behind them, the 26 of Will Power. And there is the 75 of Takuma Sato coming back, attempting his third win of the greatest spectacle in racing. He's had a rocket ship this month. Speaking of rocket ships, Jamie's hanging out with a guy who knows all about that.
I like what you did there, Will. Yes, when I was just talking to Alex Palou, he mentioned that he has an astronaut in his pit area. And yes, he does. Jeremy Hansen, you just came back from that mission on Artemis II. First off, thank you so much. I mean, you brought this country together, watching and enjoying. Thank you for what you did.
Oh, well, it was our honor as a crew. Reed, Victor, Christina, and I had an extraordinary experience flying around the moon. My whole crew wished they could be here today, but they couldn't for other reasons, so I'm just glad I made it. The energy here is spectacular. This whole team has been very generous. Alex has been explaining things to me. I'm just lapping it all up. See a lot of extraordinary parallels. You know, the pursuit of excellence that I see in our space program. I see the exact same drive here. Just talking to the engineers in the back room, it just feels like mission control here for me. Very much at home. And I was just saying to Alex and his team yesterday, we had an honoring in mission control for our controllers. Highlighted a few of the extraordinary, over-the-top contributions, plus just celebrating that whole team for what they did. But ultimately, I just love to say to Americans and others around the world who participated in this mission, is extraordinary what humanity can do when we set these big goals and we come together to pursue that excellence. I've witnessed something amazing, the moon up close, seeing the Earth from the perspective of the moon, but more importantly, I've seen what humanity is possible of. I witnessed it firsthand. It's pretty extraordinary.
So well said. We're so happy you're here. You're about to take in your first Indy 500, so we'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm going to lap it all up.
Well.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm so excited about Artemis. I know you're a space geek, James. I'm a space geek. But what was lovely for me was when Artemis took off, I showed Isla. She's 2.5, my daughter. And she is so excited about
this idea, and it's just incredible to see the inspiration that gets passed down to kids now that we're going back to the moon. It's just wonderful.
A whole new level of attention brought back to the space program. Very excited for all of us, and I hope I get the chance to chat to Jeremy and pick his brain a little bit as a fellow Canadian and a fellow space nerd.
I love that. David Malukas has got a hell of a car underneath him. Georgia, what more do you know?
He sure does, Will. It's been so exciting and fun to watch him in his first year with Team Penske, this 500 experience. He told me just a little bit earlier this week, when I asked him, is there any extra pressure now that you're in a Penske car? And he says, yes, there is tons of pressure, but the thing he finds the most interesting is that now there's no excuse. He thought before maybe he was a rookie, or maybe the team would have an excuse here and there, but Team Penske has given him everything he has ever wanted, and he finds the pressure to be there, but he's thriving on it. I mean, look at the stats already. He has 5 top 10s with the team this season already, and turns out that David Malukas, not perfect today. They're having a little bit of team communication issues. He comes to pit lane. Kevin?
3 years ago, Joseph Newgarden was essentially resigned to the fact that he was probably never going to win this race after trying 11 times. Then he broke through, won it, then won it again, and was maybe on the path of driving to the back, from the back to the front last year before a mechanical, and the same situation is in play again this year. The race car is excellent. He didn't quite have it in qualifying, but they look good in Monday practice. They look good. Fastest again so far here today. This is the one to watch, I think, coming from beyond the midfield on Sunday.
And who's on his rear wing right now? Again, Daly. I think he's setting him well within his sights. Interesting from David Malukas, guys. It's that well-worn phrase now in sport. Pressure is a privilege.
Yeah, and look, what I find so interesting about Malukas's kind of approach to this month is, yes, of course, there's pressure, there's expectation. He's no longer has excuses, like he says, but he's not wearing that on his sleeve. He's still walking around like this sort of very light, airy sort of approach to it. He doesn't seem bogged down or weighed down by the pressure, by the stress that comes along with driving for the captain. So it's kind of refreshing to see. He's starting up on the front row. He's running up there now. And I agree, Newgarden does look super strong in traffic, but so does Malukas, and he is starting 20 places higher. It's just putting him in a much better spot. But no, this whole organization is running really, really well this year at the Speedway.
I think it's fascinating when you're a young driver and you get the rare opportunity to get into a race team where you have every single element you need to perform. It allows you to take any bandwidth that might have been distracted worrying about deficiencies and driving it all into your sole job as the driver, which is just do your thing behind the wheel. And I think Malukas is taking advantage of that environment for the first time. He's already finished second here before. We know what he can do on ovals especially, but now he's got the sharpest toolkit on pit lane with Team Penske, the most successful team in history, and it just seems like he's mastering the art of managing all these little nuances that are all in his favor, all pulling together, all with winning experience. He will be a force on Sunday. He will be fun to watch.
And what did he say at the start of the year? I love having all the toys.
Yes.
Will he be a first-time Indy 500 winner, a first-time race winner? David Malukas has got it all. Terry Crews and Carson Hocevar.
I'm so happy.
Day every single day. We had no respect around the world. I thought, what if we screwed up soccer forever? U.S. Soccer called with this asinine idea that they were going to put a national team together. This was Groundhog Day every single day. We had no respect around the world. I thought, what if we screwed up soccer forever?
No league, no roadmap, no expectations, just a team determined to change American soccer forever. Summer of '94, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, tells the incredible story of the U.S. men's national team's improbable journey to the 1994 World Cup, inspiring a nation along the way. Premiering tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. You remember that, Townsend? What were you doing in 1994?
I was a freshman in college, but I was a soccer player in high school in 1993.
That's why you're so good at keepy-uppies.
Is that what you call them?
Yeah, what do you call them?
Juggling?
Excuse me?
Juggling a soccer ball?
No, it's keepy-uppies.
Juggling?
Yeah.
Juggling.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said...
No, he said keepy-uppies.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
England.
Oh, guys.
Yes.
The Top Gun camera gets a whole new look with this heads-up display. 227 miles an hour for Scott Dixon. You see the RPMs there on the right-hand side. Full throttle, flat shat, all the good information, zero brake. You're hopefully not going to see much of that while this car's running around on the racetrack. That is a cool shot. I just love what an appreciation you get of the speed, of the violence, the head bobbing around. You see the hands moving on the wheel, all these intense but minute little movements.
Clear.
Let's see what other cool cameras we got. Here we go.
That's a great angle. I love this camera. Guys behind the scenes here at Fox pulling out all the stops on the new camera angles. And this real speed.
On 3, 2, 1.
Zoom.
Little pit stop practice happening for the Thirsty Threes.
Clear, all clear.
Not just important for the race, important for the pit stop competition coming up later today.
Indeed, $150,000 on the line for the Oscar Mayer Pit Stop Challenge. And that comes, of course, after the one and only, the second annual, who on earth thought this was going to become annual? Weenie 500s. I honestly can't wait.
There were a few full hot dog costumes in the stands last year for the Weenie 500. There are decidedly more sprinkled around the speedway already in anticipation for the greatest race in culinary arts.
Well, now we've taken things up. We've got a board wiener trophy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean,
we got a new wiener in the fight.
The corn dog.
Corn dog. Stick and all. The corn dog will be hoping to stick it to the rivals this afternoon. Just came up with that one. Save it, Buxton. Save it for later. Don't forget, folks, 2 p.m. on Fox. Actual Fox. They're putting us on network TV for the Weenie 500.
Danger zone of a whole different kind.
See it right there.
Grab your buns. We'll see you at 2.
Pit stop challenge coming up right after at 2:30. And that's always a fun one to call. It's a fun one to watch. It's competitive, but it's still sporting. It's fun. It's friendly. But there's a lot of money on the line. A lot of pride for these teams. for these crews. They work so hard all year long on their training, on their preparation. We talk about it during race weekends. We mention it during the races themselves, but this is when they are the true stars and get to show all their hard work.
Watching Scott Dixon here try to work on Jacob Abel. Got to say, Jacob Abel and that Abel Motorsports team, small program, one-off here at Indianapolis. Every time we see that red and white number 51, looks comfortable, looks in the mix, and I think this rookie is going to continue to improve as the race progresses. Very methodical approach. They didn't come here promising to set the world on fire, but I think they've exceeded expectations every time they're on track. Abel looking very comfortable out there.
Abel has never looked like being the 33rd entry this year. Not even close to it.
Yep.
He's looked great and making amends for that huge disappointment last year. I remember him coming up. Was it carb day or was it the Monday practice after? I think it was the Monday immediately after bump day. And he came up here and was so gracious.
And that whole team, you talk about pit stops, that whole team is staffed by members of the Able Motorsports Indy Next program, the minor league, the feeder series into INDYCAR. So everybody really getting their big chance on the biggest stage at the same time. It's a really cool story.
It's a great story, and again, I was chatting to Jacob about it. One of the things that makes it so cool is that's a 4-car program in Indy Next, Able Motorsports, and you know what it's like when you're on the same team. You guys all work together, you're rooting for one another, but come race day, the drop of the green flag, each of those 4 squads, they want their guy to come out on top. There's a little bit of friendly competition within the team. Now, for the first time, all of those mechanics, engineers, they're all working together on the same car with the same driver going for the same goal. So Jacob said it's helping bring this team even more together than they have been so far. So just a really great story through and through.
Award jumps up to 19th, 224.202. Big improvement for the McLaren man. Scott McLaughlin still sits 8th for Penske. There's nothing like it, is there? Welcome to Carb Day, folks.
The retro graphic.
Man, That music
the
is
theme music,
it's everything.
all of it. This is just so very carb day, and I love it. This is, I've said it a lot, one of my favorite days of the whole month. Outside of race day, this is the best. Such a great atmosphere, such a great vibe, a lot of great on-track action with all different types of machines, as we'll see a little bit later today. And speaking of different types of machines, Jamie Little's caught up with someone who drives something different than what we're watching right now.
Well, yes, that's Carson Hocevar, a big race winner last month in the Cup Series, also a competitor in the Truck Series. We saw you last week, Carson. Obviously, you had so much fun. You came back for more. What do you think of Carb Day for the first time?
Yeah, this is a lot more crazy and hectic than I was here just a week ago. So it just intensity picks up, and yeah, I get to enjoy it even more. Just seeing, you know, the last little bit of practice here, how much they were all, you know, everybody was super calm, and now they're all, you know, a lot more intense in there. That I have the radio on and listening, trying to learn and everything, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot more strict. I'm trying to like back up because they're writing notes down and getting frantic and everything. So, but you know, hopefully they get this car rolling good for Will. But you know, the other Andretti cars look pretty good.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your interest level in doing this yourself? Maybe next year or the year after?
I mean, it was a 10 before I walked in here. You know, now seeing all the people and everything, and you know, the intensity and the competition of it is way more fun. You know, last week it felt like it was more of a test session, and there wasn't a ton of people here. You know, this is, you know, this feels a lot more, you know, real. You know, being here today. So yeah, you know, my will to want to do this race, or just excitement level to watch it Sunday, has gone up, you know, a lot.
You know, Carson, for you, for me, all of us here at Fox, it's been a really tough day. Losing Kyle Busch, and then we've also got cars on track. But you were a competitor with him just a week ago in his final race win. At the time, obviously had no idea what was ahead for him. What was he like? What did he mean to you as a competitor, as a teammate when it came to the Truck Series?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously, you know, had our battles as competitors, but you know, you wouldn't have known that. You know, when he walked into the Spire shop, you wouldn't have any idea you know, whether he disliked me or not on Sundays. You know, when it came to Fridays or Monday through Friday at the race shop, at Spire, we were teammates, and you know, I think that said a lot about him. And I think you don't have to say anything. You can just see the impact it's made from every discipline of racing, every news outlet. You know, every race fan or non-race fan or past race fan, and you know, everybody else in between. You know, there's been a lot of really good stories from everybody on social, obviously telling their Kyle stories, but you know, just the fact you could see the impact and the needle mover he was and everything. That's you know, we all have memories. You know, he has 1,000 trophies, but the memories are going to live well past those trophies. And yeah, it's just you know, the racetrack's going to be less chaotic without him, and a lot less fun to watch and be around. And yeah, a lot of people lost their, you know, biggest hero or the one they love to hate, and you know, we need both in that sport. So my heart breaks for all the, you know, especially the kids out there, race fans, everybody that lost their hero. I can't imagine that. So
well said. Good to see you here. Have a good weekend and good luck on Sunday in the Coke 600.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think we repeat the call again to Dan Tauris, to the good folks at Chili's, to get that sorted for 2027. Please. Thank you very much.
And I mean, he thinks it's cool on Carb Day. I wish he could be here. If he didn't,
man,
if he could at least do the double as a fan on the morning, and then competitor in the Coke 600 in the afternoon, the evening, it'd be cool for him to see this thing live.
Well, it's one thing to come here and get the vibe, get the energy of the fans. It's a whole different reaction when he climbs in the cockpit for the first time and feels what it means to go 230 at Indianapolis. These cars designed first and foremost to work at this racetrack, and boy, do they work well. I would love for Carson to get that taste. That would do nothing to dampen his enthusiasm for making his first start in the greatest spectacle in racing.
We just had to listen to Jimmy earlier in his experiences of that. There's your 15-lap average top 5. Readiness VK fastest of all from Newgarden and Rahal. That will be prompt for Graham Rahal. Then McLaughlin and McLucas. Goodness me, Penske looking incredibly strong. And with the man who is top of that 15-lap average. That man is Readiness VK, and our lady down on pit lane is Georgia Henneberry.
45 minutes left in practice. Readiness VK out of the car. Is that by choice, or are you guys done for the day?
We're done for today. We've kind of checked everything off our list. Felt very good. Yeah, that's kind of our plan. So we wanted to do about 60 laps. We did 59. So very good. I'm happy. Probably happiest I've been in the last 2 weeks in traffic. So yeah, feeling good. Ready for the race.
Good, that's great. I see behind you a very beautiful and special Indy 500 helmet. Can you show me it?
Yes, it's very cool. My painter did a very good job. It's a Dutch porcelain art, all hand painted, with the porcelain cracked effects. So I'm gonna say this is James Hinchcliffe. It looks like him. I did not ask for this, so don't blame me. Dogs, you know, the old pagoda. The Marmon Wasp, the first winner 110 years ago, and of course the 500 logo. So very cool. He did a great job, and well, fits the car as well, the wet Busch car with the blue. So I love to do special helmets. So yeah, and it's quick as well.
It's nice to see that you're feeling confident. Thank you, Readiness. James, what do you think? You made the helmet.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. I threw his helmet painter a couple bucks just to chuck my face on his lid. I didn't think he was going to notice. I didn't think he was going to look that closely. But, Readiness, I appreciate you, carrying me for the race on Sunday, pal.
Great lid. We've got a couple of special lids, actually, for the race. More and more coming along. I'm hoping we'll get a look at Jack Harvey's lid pretty soon, especially as we've got a new Top Gun camera. It'll fit quite well with that if folks have already seen that helmet online. Kevin, though, standing by with the man who has been top of this session for well over an hour and a quarter. Joseph Newgarden's carb days looking pretty good.
Work is done, ready to race. Is the race car as sporty as we think it might be? How good is it?
Feels okay. Feels all right. But, today's Friday. We got to be good on Sunday.
Feels all right. Is there a little concern at this point, or are you just being coy with us?
I'm just ready to get to Sunday, but Sunday's what's going to matter with the shell car, and Team Chevy's done a great job this month for us, so I'm excited to go racing.
All right, thank you, Joseph. Hey, I also want to mention a couple of special guests in the pit. I know, Will, you will mention one of them. That's Felipe Nasr, experiencing the Indy 500 for the first time, and his IMSA teammate, Julian Anlauer, is here. Neither have been to the Indianapolis 500. Both are quite capable of jumping in. They are Porsche factory drivers.
Felipe Nasr told us in Long Beach that he wants nothing more than to convince Roger Penske to give him a chance not just to race at the 500, but to race in INDYCAR full time.
Check this out, guys. Helio Castroneves there in the Cliffs car, pulling into the wrong pit box, running over the air hose as his teammate Marcus Armstrong pulls in behind.
It's tricky when you're pitted side by side to your teammate. That's not always something you see in the race. In practice, yes, but the pit sequence, the selection is based on qualifying. So interesting strategy to be close together, but it can create situations like that.
Especially when you're running 66 and 06 and at speed, those two numbers can look pretty similar. Hang on, Christian. We'll be back. Back in Indianapolis, small gaggle of cars still out on track. But we thought we'd give you an example of how pit stall allocation really can make a difference come Sunday.
Yeah, fantastic stuff here. Look at Scotty Mack does not have a pit box in front of him here. He can do a straight launch like a drag strip out of his box. Doesn't have to worry about turning the car right away. Nice and easy blend up versus Pato O'Ward, James. Now he's at the front of pit lane, but look at how much theatrics there are to clear the car in front.
And if you've got a car in the box in front of you, I mean, you look at how cross the wheel has to get you. I mean, you're fighting the wheel. You're trying not to spin out. You're trying to get the power down, but the car wants to turn left. It's easy to hook back to the inside. So in terms of launching out of the box, massive advantage to someone like McLaughlin in that type of pit stall.
And it's important to know that McLaughlin had the choice to be further up pit lane, but they picked that specifically for that strategic advantage as we go back on board Top Gun with Will Power.
See him just really having to pedal the throttle.
One back with the run, just Elio.
Running there in a pack. You hear one back with the run.
Looking inside, clear.
Power right now, we're showing running on 12-lap tires. And he calls to pit. Something probably not awesome in the balance of that race car. He looked like he was struggling to stay with the 06. And let's ride on board here as he gets down to that PLC, that pit lane control, 60 miles an hour.
I like his brake bias there. You can just hear the rear axle locking up.
And remember, these are different pit boxes than what they've been driving to all week long. So we talk about all the reps you get in practice, but it's a different visual, a different amount of time that you're waiting, your cadence, your timing to get into that box, completely different. So these days of practice, super important.
I would always do this on this day. I would look for assets like, where's the pylon? Let's say I'm pitted right here. I want to know, where am I relative to the pylon? Maybe look up here at the suites and try to identify some assets that can give me a reference point. People don't realize how colorful and confusing this lineup is when you're sitting just about 36 inches off the ground at eye level. And I looked for stuff that I knew would not move on race day to make sure I've got the reference point so I don't make the mistake you just saw from Elio Castroneves. Part of the critical punch list, Will, that you've got to do on carb day to eliminate mistakes on race day.
Answer me this. Are you allowed to put anything on the low white wall that separates pit lane from racetrack, on that inside wall, to sort of indicate where your
like a
box
piece
is?
of tape or something,
yeah,
things like that?
Or like a little arrow that just points across.
That's a good question. Certainly on your own pit wall you can do that, and on the racetrack, on pit lane, to guide you into your own pit stall. But I think outside of your pit stall, I don't believe you would. Back in the day, you had signboard guys in the pit between the racetrack and pit lane, and they would be waving their signboard as well. But signboards are a thing of the past.
Just going to have to figure out which Shell renewable race fuel or Indy 500 sponsored by Gainbridge logo you're going to have to turn in on, I guess.
Exactly.
Jamie Little down on pit lane.
Yeah, just a little update on a couple of drivers that I spoke to. They were out of the car earlier in practice. Alex Palou, our pole sitter for Sunday's race, just talked to the team, and they did confirm what Barry Wanzer had told me. There was a little too much grease in one area of the car that actually it felt like something was wrong and off. So they wanted to bring him in. Alex said it was just easier for the team to take the car back. So no issues. He told me the car is good. They're happy with it. Good in traffic, good on speed. Felix Rosenquist in the 60. I just checked with his strategist, riding on board with him right there, and he said there was indeed something broken. Didn't want to give any more details, but what Felix felt was confirmed, that something felt off and broken. They got it fixed, and they're confident that was the issue.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, Jamie.
That's scary for Felix Rosenquist. I mean, first of all, heads up to him to be able to feel it and get the car back, but imagine that happened on lap 3 of the race and you feel something that breaks in the race car. Your Indy 500 is over almost before it begins. So it's the kind of thing that you do lose a little sleep at night about as a driver and as engineers. You want to make sure that this car is absolutely prepped, perfect, and ready to go.
P33 right now. She's attempting the double, Catherine Legg. Kevin, not a great time on the board. What can you let us know about Catherine?
Well, they're focused on other things, so that makes it more difficult to get what they want to get done because she's been having communications issues. So she spent more time sitting in the pit box than they would like. They've tried changing an antenna. They're still working through it and trying to get some things back out. As far as the logistics of doing the double, it's a lot of media appearances. That's what most of her travel has been done. She has not had to go to Charlotte this week. She won't go until tomorrow morning. Practice and qualifying is at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, and then she'll be able to come back on Saturday night. And there is some wiggle room between the race on Sunday and getting there in time. There is no rule anymore. You must make the drivers' meeting, so she wouldn't lose her starting position or suffer any other type of a penalty. And it has been made very clear the Indy 500 is the priority. So even if it is delayed for rain or any other matter here in Indianapolis, she would stay here if the race is going to run on Sunday.
I believe Catherine got stuck in New York earlier in the week as well with all of the weather overnight. She becomes the 6th person to attempt to run the double. What an amazing feat. The first woman to attempt it as well. She was on the Kelly Clarkson show the other day. She's been really doing all of the PR opportunities that she can. Guys, with less than half an hour to go, I want to look at people who we maybe need to be looking at. We'll do that in a minute. Rosenquist Radio first.
Quite a lot of unders there at 4, about a little loose at 1 and 2.
Okay, so a little loose. Guys, when we look at the times, I'm looking at Pato O'Ward 20th, Ryan Hunter-Ray 25th, Nolan Siegel 27th, Christian Lundgaard 30th. McLaren swear they have a great race car. Do we need to be worried about McLaren's attempt at the Indy 500 on the 50th anniversary of their last victory here?
Well, I'll go back to the 50+ hours of on-track action we've had so far, all the onboard shots that we've seen, you know, with Pato O'Ward. We always talk about that kickback, that vibration that we see, and you know, I know we say that, okay, well, Pato kind of likes a lot of feedback through the steering wheel, but when you contrast that to what we see from Team Penske, from Alex Palou on board, James, it just looks like a lot of work behind the wheel of a McLaren this year, and it looks, from a contrasting standpoint, so straightforward and comfortable in those Ganassi and Penske cars. I think it's going to be a tall order, but I never would count this guy out. He is that special and that committed to just driving around any ill handling of his race car in the search of victory.
And James, the other driver that everyone will be looking at today, Alexander Rossi, 31st on the timing sheets. Perhaps more importantly, laps completed 47. How important are those laps for him? And does he need an out-and-out fast lap around here just to get that boost of confidence in the last 25 minutes?
No, he doesn't. He's got the advantage of the track position early on. And so I think for him, it was important to get those laps in for him and the team as well. And, you know, you talk about, are we worried about McLaren? Should they be worried? 3 of their 4 drivers are out of their race cars. There's still time on the board. If they were that concerned, they would still be throwing changes at it. So maybe, you know, we've said a lot. You cannot just look at the times in these group runs and really make a good assessment. Weird to see all 4 of those cars 20th or worse, but still, if they're packing it up early, they're relatively happy.
I think Alexander Rossi is a good example. Will, last year he was 32nd on carb day practice. He still led 14 laps in the race and was a factor to win it before that pit issue with the fuel.
Can't read everything into times. Body language, in and out of the car, how early they set up for the day. We'll be back for more in Indianapolis.
The day is done for someone we think is going to be strong on Sunday. Do you still feel the same?
We feel really strong. Yeah, our race car has been phenomenal for the past 2 weeks now. Yeah, the Sam's Club Honda has been really, really fast. It's just qualifying, man. We just didn't do that well in qualifying, so we're starting deep. So hopefully we create some excitement for you guys, because I think we're going to pass a lot of cars out there, and hopefully the weather holds up and gives us some time to actually get to the front. But yeah, we're gonna grind out there. We're gonna be able to pass some cars, especially with the car that we're gonna wrap it up with bubble wrap and put a bow tie on it and pull it back out on Sunday, because this thing's a rocket ship. Really happy.
Another one nearby is Joseph Newgarden. Do you guys think about hooking up together and carving through the field together? Can you make each other help each other?
We kind of talked, joking about it. It's like, man, we're just going to carve up through these guys. I hope he's right as he's walking by right now. They look pretty good, too. There's a few guys that look really good. Joseph's definitely one of them. We're definitely one of them. My teammates, and, you know, there's a lot of good cars at the front, but there's a lot of good cars in the back, too. So I think it's going to be an exciting race for everybody.
Thanks, Kyle.
No worries. Thanks.
The day is done for someone we think is going to be strong on Sunday. Do you still feel the same?
We feel really strong. Yeah, our race car's been phenomenal for the past 2 weeks now. Yeah, the Sam's Club Honda has been really, really fast. It's just qualifying, man. We just didn't do that well in qualifying, so we're starting deep. So hopefully we create some excitement for you guys, because I think we're going to pass a lot of cars out there, and hopefully the weather holds up and gives us some time to actually get to the front. But yeah, we're gonna grind out there. We're gonna be able to pass some cars, especially with the car that we're gonna wrap it up with bubble wrap and put a bow tie on it and pull it back out on Sunday, because this thing's a rocket ship. Really happy.
Another one nearby is Joseph Newgarden. Do you guys think about hooking up together and carving through the field together? Can you make each other help each other?
We kind of talked, joking about it. It's like, man, we're just going to carve up through these guys. I hope he's right as he's walking by right now. They look pretty good, too. There's a few guys that look really good. Joseph's definitely one of them. We're definitely one of them. My teammates, and, you know, there's a lot of good cars at the front, but there's a lot of good cars in the back, too. So I think it's going to be an exciting race for everybody.
Thanks, Kyle.
No worries. Thanks.
Carl Kirkwood's got a good race car underneath him. Oh, who's gonna? That is Joseph.
Just like the race.
It's interesting as well, you know, have you got a good car and Joseph goes, nah, he's downplaying it. He's downplaying it. Joseph's locked in already, isn't he?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was shorter responses than we were expecting from Joseph. He looked solid on track, but look, I get his point, and this is something that we hear a lot and we've experienced. Townsend, I know you're the same way. This month is so long. You spend so many hours at this racetrack practicing. Qualifying weekend is long. It's stressful. It's tense. You have Monday. Then the drivers for the last 2 days have been doing tons of media and appearances. You get to carb day and you're like, guys, we just want to race. We are over the rest of it. As much fun as it is, and as much of all these things make Indy so special, at the end of the day, we're here for the 500 miles on Sunday, and now it's just, let's strap in and go.
Yeah, I think Joseph's been ready since Tuesday of last week. You know, he rolled off great. Penske's ready to go. I had a chance to see Mr. Roger Penske last weekend. You talk about commitment to winning this year. He's already got 20. I've never seen so much fight in his eyes. He is ready for his 3 drivers to go out and show how much work they put into the race cars this month. I'm sure he was really disappointed to not be on pole with one of his 3, but from a racing standpoint, James, we have circled them, frankly, since the April test has been dialed in.
I think you probably could have circled Penske immediately after the 500 last year. How much do you think that stung the Penske organization, Roger himself, all of the Ferrari, all of the controversy surrounding last year's Indy 500? How much do you think that redoubled them to come back this year and almost put down a marker and say, well, we'll show you how quick we are?
We've seen it before. We've seen it before out of that group. You know, you think back to the push-to-pass incident in St. Pete a few years back. They came to that next race, locked out the front row. McLaughlin dominated the event. So this team knows how to, you know, get back on the horse and get it done. Obviously, a full season of racing in between the last 500 and now, but Indy's a different deal, and for sure, they wanted to come here and make a statement. They got David Malukas on the front row. Scotty McLaughlin was up there in the top 12 as well.
But so many people are going to give him a hard time on race day, like this guy Connor Daly, like Alex Palou, like Kyle Kirkwood, and so many others, frankly, that have shown us great pace, good racecraft through practice. I mean, Helio Castroneves, we saw the bobble in pit lane, but every time we show Castroneves in dirty air on old tires, I think he should be a factor as well.
Fascinating article with Scott McLaughlin this week said that his last year's Indy 500 was the worst moment of his life, and he wouldn't wish it on his worst enemy. Looking pretty tasty this year. Top 8 in final practice down on pit lane with Georgia.
Scotty Mack, Scott McLaughlin, done for practice today. You have said that today you still had boxes you wanted to check on a list. Did they get checked?
Yeah, we got the list done. So and we done it with like 45 minutes left to go. So that's great. Yeah, I feel super comfortable in and out laps. So many things you got to think about for race day outside of just the car balance too. So yeah, the Pennzoil Chevy feels good. We ticked a lot of boxes and we've got as good a shot as anyone. Everyone's going to say they feel good and whatever, but we'll just go out there and execute and see what we can do.
Thanks, Scott.
Cheers. Thank you.
Guys, we were talking about the front row of the grid. We're talking about a seemingly tough day of it for McLaren, giving their times. All 3 drivers on the front row of the grid for this year's Indy 500 were at some point or another a McLaren driver.
It's a great point, Will, and you got to wonder, what does Zach Brown think when he comes here and said, you know, at one point I've had all of these guys as my guy,
but they were
all under contract. Only one of them actually started a race for the team.
True, but one of them under contract did wear the McLaren shirt and run in their F1 car. The other one wore a shirt and was dropped before he got into the car. No change really in the top of the time. Still Newgarden, Rasmussen, and Malukas. Hinch, I know you want to take a look down at the number 10.
Well, I want to take a look down at pit lane in general and kind of show you guys how important this selection is. So there's Palou on the pole. He chooses the first one. You want to be at the front of pit lane. You want that easy out. But let's think about where second and third are on pit lane. Alex Rossi and Felix Rosenquist. You see Ferrucci. You see O'Ward. You see Kiffin Simpson. We have to keep going back. Connor Daly, you want to be as high up in that line as you possibly can be unless you can find a box with an advantage. And here it is. You've got Alex Rossi here and David Malukas here. They got the second and the third choices. Why did they choose that far back in the line? Because of this big gap right here. As we were explaining earlier, Malukas, that gives him an easy out. With Rossi, other way, he has a nice, easy, straight shot in. Both of those drivers will benefit from that open space in between on one side of that pit stop. And when it comes to pit selection, this is a huge part of it. These teams have spreadsheets about how many positions are lost and gained, the finishing position from drivers in each of the pit boxes. Sometimes there's a random one that doesn't have a clean in and out, but for some reason always seems to do well in yellow flag stops. There is a science to selecting these pit boxes.
There's science, there's data, but as we know, ultimately in racing, it comes down to you guys behind the wheel.
Clear.
What did you prefer, easy in or easy out?
I would prefer an easy out if it were me. That's where my Indy 5, my best chance to win went south was on the exit of the pit box. Sure, it's a little easier to get into the box if you've got that clean in, but if you are back down pit lane, the other problem you have is getting cut off by people coming out of their box. So even if you're faster on your elapsed time, you're still running down pit lane as the leaders, or at least the guys that are at the front are exiting their box, and they can cut you off, force you to lift off the throttle, and then your ET, your elapsed time, suffers anyways. I never liked that in terms of being pitted well deep on pit lane and all of the cutoffs that would happen, the risk of contact or having to lift at pit speed.
Hinge, easy and easy out.
I agree with the easy out, but for all those reasons, and I'll add another one, when you have the easy in, that straight shot in, it's so easy to get goaded into going too deep and actually sliding and stopping a little bit late on your marks. When you are forced to do the turn in, it kind of controls the entry a little bit better. It's easy to be more consistent, I always found.
Easy in suggests you should have an advantage, therefore you seek that advantage and push the limits that much more. Great point.
10 minutes now to go. Jack Harvey back out on track. Up in 13th, much better running from him today.
About 9 cars on track. One of them we haven't spoke much about is Mick Schumacher for RLL. He's out there getting some laps in. 29th on the time charts right now, but 57 laps complete as we see Rossi. Day done for him, having to be a little bit careful, a little bit ginger as he gets out of that race car, but ultimately a fairly productive day for him. 48 laps complete. Sits down 31st on the time charts, but like we said, I think there's more to these stories for all 33 of these drivers than what you're seeing on the pylon.
I don't think we can overemphasize sort of the heroic nature of getting your hand and your foot drilled and screwed back together and then jumping in a race car to contest the Indianapolis 500. Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Alexander Rossi starts on the front row with this guy.
consistent the car has been by far.
Be that. Thank you.
That is great news for Connor Daly, and this is at a time when the track temperature started to come up from where it started. So if anything, you should be going the other way.
Just get out of the car, kid.
Yeah, just get out, polish it, and put it away.
Wow, we talk about the heroic effort of Alexander Rossi to even be here today, to even get in the car. What a wonderful story. Great to see him back at the Speedway, and he's down on pit lane with Jamie.
Yeah, and chatting with him now, it's like nothing happened. You only know something happened because you have the brace on, but you got some good laps out there. I mean, tell me overall how you're feeling and how this backup car is.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel amazing. So, I mean, I just want to talk about the INDYCAR doctors and everyone at IU Health and what they accomplished in order to get us back to this process. At getting in the car today, it's pretty exceptional. So it took a huge amount of things to go correctly, and a great group of people that I'm incredibly thankful for, and then the 20-car crew for what they did to bring a car back to Speedway that feels just as good as the car that we qualified. You know, we had a very specific plan for today to get through, just to make sure that everything that we thought would happen, and it all did. So, you know, we're in a really good spot for Sunday, and you know, all three ECR cars seem incredibly strong, and it's a testament to the organization and the resolve that everyone has.
Well, it's a testament to you. You race car drivers are just built different. What is the process like for you going through what you did? That was a huge hit, going through surgery, and then to get back into a race car and get your mind right for Sunday's race.
I mean, mentally it's fine. You know, I've crashed race cars before. That's really no different to any other time. It's just the time crunch. You know, that was the big thing. Like, are we going to be able to keep slowing down? Is everything going to go as according to plan? Will the range of motion stay good enough to do what we need to do? Not only from just staying full throttle, but you have to take into consideration, you know, a big checkup in front of you when you're battling with other cars. You know, you're pedaling the car a lot, a yellow flag comes out, so you have to have that ability to react as well, and all of that is where it needs to be.
All right, Alexander Rossi will roll off second, his best starting position for the Indy 500.
Everybody on the front row for this year's race either equals or attained their best ever start for the Indy 500. For Palou, he equals his best with a pole. Best ever for Rossi, best ever for Malukas. Quite the record for the top three. Pole sitter into pit lane, and not without issue.
Find in the limit. Find in the limit, backing her in.
And that is on a full stint. Look at the smoke coming off the tires. It's like someone pulling the e-brake on you, trying to get into your driveway. That's 29 laps on a set of tires. So that's what you need to feel, Townsend. It's not about when you're coming in at 10 laps on your tires, at 15 laps on your tires.
That's a great point.
He'll lock that away. He'll know, okay, I'm going to sneak that bias a tiny bit forward, because I'd rather have a little bit of front lock than someone pulling the e-brake and having the rears lock on me.
Well, we got a little bit of skin in the game this year in the 500, just as we did last year. Our very own Jack Hollywood Harvey. He's currently 13th fastest, and he's down with Kevin Lee.
And my normal pit lane partner, we are literally separated by a wall here on pit lane. All right, how's the car for Sunday?
It's good, Kevin, honestly. I think we can hang out pretty well, and if someone makes a mistake in front, we'll be ready to attack.
We saw on social media you unveiled your new lid. Oh, yeah. Show it off to everybody here.
Fighter pilot, it was a homage, I guess, to Hollywood out of Top Gun, but one of the coolest bits, I hope Will likes it anyway. Will Buxton designed our Harvey Hollywood sign, I guess you would say it. And then only other cool final thing, our hometown soccer team, Lincoln City FC, they won League One this year. They're going up to the championship.
More than your hometown soccer team, you're the owner, right? No, a small percentage.
Small piece, Kevin, but anyway, shout out Lincoln City.
Awesome. Looks good. It's aerodynamic. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, Kevin.
Love the Top Gun homage. It's got the breathing apparatus on the front and everything. That is a good look in.
It's interesting, James, you know, what he said was we'll be able to hang out. If somebody makes a mistake, we can capitalize that. A little different than the confidence we heard out of Kirkwood, Connor Daly, what we saw out of Joseph Newgarden, cars that seem like they can pass even if a mistake doesn't happen.
Top Gun lid to the Top Gun cam.
Boy, Dixon's been quiet this month, and a quiet Dixon
can be a dangerous Dixon.
It's usually a very, very committed and fierce Dixon on race day.
One of the things you notice, guys, if we get to that camera again, you know, during this session or maybe when we get to the race, just take a look at his chest. When he gets to the straight, you can just see how hard it is to drive these Indy cars, and he's even backing off right now. He's on a cool down lap.
I don't know, James. I think he might be on a Rossi fuel save lap here. His last lap was 2:10.
And you can see the heaving that you're having to breathe on the straight, Soundson, because through the corners there's so much G-force. It's hard to actually expand your lungs. You've got to just kind of let nature do its thing.
I love this. Scott Dixon is absolutely practicing crazy fuel save here for his team, getting valuable data. This lap probably going to be in the low 200s as well. He comes across the line and it's a 2:03. This is exactly what they're doing. If we are going to go for broke on fuel mileage, what kind of numbers are we going to need to achieve?
And now he's contrasting that with a flat out lap. He's flat through 1, flat through 2. So he's giving the team very useful information.
Time remained, we are the traffic.
One of the things that drivers will have done through this session is running different fuel maps to give numbers and information, all that data to the teams just for this situation. So if they need to make a close call on fuel, they know what map they have to do. Dixon knows what he has to do with his foot.
And Dixon wanted to know, where does he stand no toe when he's wide open? So as the number 9 crosses the line, this will tell us rough pace for Dixon, leading in that downforce at 2:15.7.
He would have had a slow start to that lap, so if he keeps it pinned for this one, I think it'll be a more honest run. But this is cool. You get the contrasting approaches. Some drivers and teams like their cars, quote unquote, check their boxes, threw it in the garage. Dixon out here till the bitter end, using every minute of track time.
And you know who's loving this right now? Alex Palou. Hey, thanks Scott for going and giving us the data too. As a team member, Palou doesn't necessarily need to do the practice, but he will love the information that Dixon can deliver.
Well, guys, 20 seconds left in practice. We've done a lot of it this month. We've gone through the stress of qualifying weekend, but it's that time of month. Pitter patter, let's get at her. Next time we're doing this, it's going to be the Indy 500.
And our coverage begins at 10 o'clock Eastern this Sunday, May 24th, live on Fox. We cannot wait to welcome you back here for the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500. That's it. Final practice is done and in the books. Times at the top have not changed. It's still Newgarden, Rasmussen, Malukas, Daly, and Sato. What a race we have in store. What a race we have ahead of us. But Townsend, what a day we have ahead of us today. Folks, join us for the Weenie 500 at 2 Eastern on Fox. Next on FS1, it's the Herd. We'll see you on Fox at 2 for Weenies.
Back in time to do a bit of a dual broadcast.
Well, my thanks to our colleagues over at Fox Sports 1. Here in F1 land, we've got our second red flag of the session. But that is practice complete then for the 110th running of the Indy 500. We will be showing you at the top of the hour the Weenie 500 and then also the pit stop competition. So join us then for all the action. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.